Okay, so we're going to do a little rant. But it'll be a fun rant because I know a lot of you, especially you Gen Xers, are going to totally understand where I'm coming from. Especially the female persuasion, okay? All right. Most of us grew up in the 70s and 80s. And I just want to say my thoughts on women's lib. It screwed us, man. It screwed us. Not so much now. I'm talking about in our age. So first of all, I have to say that it did do some good things. I was talking to my mom. She's 84, so she grew up in a totally different era. She wasn't even able to have a bank account when she was married with my dad. Like, she wanted to start her business. She had a little wedding cake shop, and she couldn't even have a bank account. I couldn't even imagine that. Could you imagine that? Not being able to even have your own checking account? If you're married, he's got to have to give you permission. Woo! So yeah, there were some good things that came from women's lib. But let's talk about, let's talk about the good things first, because we'll start off with happy and we'll sandwich it. We'll start off with happy. I'll do my rant and then we'll have something happy at the end. That's how you're supposed to do news, right? Good news, bad news, good news. Okay, so it opened a lot of doors for women in a lot of ways that were not there before. And a lot of us are older, but not old enough to remember just how suppressed women were, before the women's lib amendment, because we were children when the women's lib amendment was really getting going. Do you remember the commercial? How did it go? I can bring home the bacon, fry it up in the pan. Never, ever, ever let him forget he's a man, 'cause I'm a woman. And then what was it advertising? Maybe you guys can help me with that. I don't remember. But it was that was after the women's lib amendment, where you could go out and get a job and you could make money and you could, still cook for him and take care of him and do it all. But the problem was we had to do it all. But women's lib gave women a chance to choose their own paths. They didn't have to be married and depend on a man to support them and make all the decisions for them. They now had that freedom. They were finally able to stand shoulder to shoulder with the man, and that mattered. Because before that, we were second-class citizens. Like I said, most of us are too young to remember what it was like before the women's lib. But we came in and started having our families and raising our kids when the fight was over, and now we are enjoying the benefits. But let's talk about that. Okay, so in the 80s, I graduated in 86, and I got married in 86, right out of high school. It was no longer so much the freedom of choice if a woman wanted to work. It was expected. And if you didn't work and still have dinner on the table and a clean house and clean kids and all the things, then you were a failure. And a lot of us gals that raised families during that time dealt with a lot of guilt, because the house was messy, because I've been at work 8 hours, commuted an hour each way, I've been gone 10 hours, kids come home from school, dinner's not on the table yet, it was a lot of guilt. I remember when I was married and working full time, and my husband's working full time, we got the kids, that he offered to let me get a housekeeper to come in once a month, which was awesome. That was awesome of him to offer that. But the guilt I felt, because I needed help. I couldn't do it all myself. I was expected to do it all myself. I had to go to work and work a full-time job and be successful at that job. And then come home and have a clean house, dinner on the table, help the kids with the homework, get them off to their soccer practice, whatever, while my husband just still had his 8-hour-a-day job, and then would come home and flop in front of the TV, or in my case, the video games, because that was a thing then. And I was so resentful, but I couldn't say anything because it was expected. The women had fought for this freedom, and now it was expected. We got exactly what we asked for. Now I'm seeing, though, that it's kind of starting to change a little bit. The men in this millennial group that are raising kids are much more involved with the kids, more involved with cooking and things like that, and a little bit more responsible about picking up their underwear out of the doorway. Women only. Did any of you women that were married through the 80s and 90s, did your man ever start to undress at the front door and you could follow, the shoes, the socks, the pants, the t-shirt, all the way to the couch or up the stairs? Maybe it's just me. Oh, God love him. You notice I'm single now. But yeah, women's lib screwed us, and we screwed ourselves is what happened. We thought we were fighting for equality, and what we got was just more on top of what we already were expected to do. And the men were like, yeah, sure, you do all that. I'm gonna sit back and have my cigar. The only thing I can relate to before the whole women's lib thing, I guess, have you ever watched Mad Men? I think that's set back in the 60s. And I watched that and I think, yeah, I see how that kind of would have sucked, because I've always been free to make my own choices and do my own thing and have my own, I've had, 3 businesses, and yeah, I've done all this myself. And so I couldn't imagine being held back the way maybe my mom was, or, women in the 50s and 60s. But I do see, like I said, the men in the millennial group are better. They're better at sharing the load. But I also see kind of a trend, and it warms my heart a little bit because it's needed. Kind of a trend of going back to the trad wife, where wives are staying home, they're raising the kids, they're homeschooling, they're cooking, and I think the world needs that. I think the kids and the families paid a little bit too much of a price for mom having all the extra responsibility laid on her. Whether she wanted it or not, it was there. So, but to end on a good note, I see that it's changing. I see that mommies are wanting to spend more time with their kids, and there's nothing. So, before you get all up in arms, I'm not complaining about the women that want it all and want to do it all. Because there are people out there that rock that shit and can do it all, and they're not afraid to ask for help. They might have a nanny or a housekeeper or whatever to help even things out, and they're still great moms and the whole thing. But it warms my heart to know that women don't have that pressure that they have to do that now. If they want to stay home with their kids and raise them, that is looking now to the world as an important job too, where before it didn't get much respect. So that's the good end of the sandwich. Drop a note below and give me a little hint of what raising your kids was like, if you had help or if you had to do it all. And I'll talk to you next time.